Good morning! This video was requested by Gaudy for her English students in the Colegio Técnico de la Suiza. Hi kids! Now let's talk a little bit about seasons in a tropical area and how this affects the life of plants. Because plants act very differently if it's really sunny than if it's full of rain. Now, in temperate areas of the globe, as you know, there are 4 different, very well-defined seasons. Summer, spring, winter, and autumn. But in tropical areas, we only have 2 seasons, and there's a lot of gray area between the 2 of them. We have a rainy season, and in the case of Costa Rica, a not-so-rainy season. This may vary from one part of the country to the other. Some places have a dry season and a rainy season. Other areas will have a rainier season and then a less rainy season, depending on how humid, how moist that part of the country is. And this, of course, has a huge impact on how plants will grow and develop and what kind of plants can grow in each area and in each season. Let's talk a little about the rainy season first. When it's raining a lot, we're going to have a lot more water running into the soil. This makes the soil very moist. If the soil is too moist, too full of water, the plants won't be able to pick up nutrients from the ground because so much water makes the oxygen less available, and it makes them have to close, to say it some way, their roots so that they don't drown. Now, when it's very dry, on the contrary, the ground is going to be so dry that they won't have any water to suck up the nutrients either. So either way, too dry or too wet, plants are going to have a hard time getting nutrients out of the soil. Rainy season also means that there's going to be less sunshine and the temperatures are going to be lower. And both low temperatures and less sunshine are going to affect the plants in the way that they won't be able to photosynthesize as well. This means that their growth is going to be a lot slower and it's going to be harder for them to produce new leaves or fruit. In general, they go a little more dormant when it's very rainy and cold. When it's extremely hot and sunny, on the other end, the plants are going to have to close the little holes through which they breathe so that they don't transpire as much humidity and they don't dry out as much. And this is also going to affect their growth. So, summarizing, either too hot and dry or too rainy and wet are both going to affect the growth of the plants in a negative way. The perfect combination, however, is when we are transitioning from rainy season to dry season, because we're going to have enough moisture, rain, so that the plants are well watered and they're healthy and turgid, and we're not going to have too much dryness or too much moisture as to drown them. Right now, as you can see, last night we had enough rain to water the plants, but right now we have enough sunshine and warmth for the plants to grow. So what can we do between seasons to make sure that our plants are not going to be too moist or too dry? What we can do is get prepared. As we know that we have a dry season or a drier season and a rainier season, we need to be able to adapt our garden to the needs that we know our plants are going to have. If the dry season is coming, we should have installed some kind of watering system to make sure that we're watering our plants at least 3 times a week to give them enough moisture to survive the dry months. And if the rainy season is coming, we should prepare with good drainage in the soil so that the excess water can drain and run and not drown our plants. Another good idea is to have enough mulch on top of the ground so that the water that falls from the rain won't splatter dirt up into the plant's leaves and make it easier for some kind of fungus to grow and diseases to make our plants sick. So good drainage, a lot of organic material in the soil, enough mulch. The mulch will also help us in the dry season to keep the ground at a more regular temperature so that it doesn't heat up too much, and to avoid plants losing too much moisture from the ground with evapotranspiration or direct evaporation from the ground. So just with these few tips, adequate watering, good drainage, and using enough mulch, you can have a healthy garden throughout the year, no matter what season you're growing in. And that's all for today. It's time for me to get to work and for you guys to get back to class. So thank you very much for listening, and please leave your comments in the description. Bye!